Alright, so this clip here has over 4 million views online in less than 48 hours. Let's go ahead and watch this. Let me know what you think about it. I'll let you know what I think about it. Let's help each other in the comment section. Let's do this.
Chris Cuomo, I know, okay, but I know this may be a novel point, a novel idea for somebody who's, you know, a supporter of Trump, but there are people who are capable of being related and not having ethical interests.
There's many things that I don't stand by that Trump did. Trump has done things that are racist. I'm a black woman first, so always understand that. But I do say that I have many conservative values that I will talk to you about. And so if you look at your network that you're standing behind, yes, and when you look at your network that you're standing behind, you're saying that you look at Chris Cuomo.
I feel like that's an oxymoron, a black Republican.
You feel like it's an oxymoron. I do.
All right.
Your friend right here is a Republican.
We had this conversation many times.
You do, and you say you feel like it's an oxymoron that you're Catholic, but you also are pro-life.
I don't understand either.
No, you don't understand yourself. Then you have disagreements.
I understand myself. I don't understand either.
But it's not a personal conversation.
Yeah.
We're going. We're having a personal conversation about CNN
I don't understand
and how
black
things can get
Republicans,
leaked.
and I don't understand Latino Republicans.
Well, here's today this is not about me, and it's not about you. It's about celebrating Corinne Jean-Pierre
and I think we should, and we can agree on that.
We'll be right back.
Basically, because of her lack of education, the lady here in the middle doesn't understand how a Latino here on the left and a black person here on the right can be Republican or can vote Republican. The first thing I have to say here, and this is my humble opinion, if it weren't for Republican, Democrat will still have slaves today. So thank you, Republican, for the 13th Amendment. And this lady here in the middle doesn't understand or doesn't know anything about history, especially black people history. She probably doesn't know anything about black American in Congress. The fact that Republicans were the first to give black people representation in Congress. The first 23 US representatives and senators combined were Republican. Did you know that? She probably doesn't know that. And this is from History, Art, and Archive, United States House of Representatives. You can see the list starting here in 1869. Right after the end of slavery, from 1869 all the way to the 1920s, all Republican, those are black American, okay? They were all given representation by Republican. That's first. Secondly, this is from the United States Senate. African American senators. She probably doesn't know that the first 3 African American senators were Republican. Republican were the first, after ending slavery, they were the first to give black people representation in Congress. This lady probably doesn't know that, or she probably doesn't care, but I want to say she doesn't know that. And if you are a Democrat watching this, don't worry, I got a fact check for you. This is from Newsweek's. All right, Newsweek's fact check were the first 23 black members of Congress Republican. It says here, there was a post on Twitter saying history that is never taught. The first 23 black congressmen were all Republican. The majority of people don't know that. So it says here, Newsweek contacted historian of the House of Representatives, Matthew Wozniacki, to ask about the claim. He confirmed that the first 23 black members of Congress had been Republican. The first 23 is in fact correct, he said. It included 22 black members of Congress during the Reconstruction and the late 19th century. 20 in the House and 2 in the Senate. Did you know that? So how is this lady can say she doesn't understand how there are black people voting for Republican? Are you serious? Republican ended slavery. Republican gave representation to black people in Congress and in the Senate, but she doesn't understand that. And it even says, after the last of those 22 individuals left the House in 1901, there was a 3-decade gap where no African American served in either chamber because of the rise of Jim Crow. But guess what? In 1928, Oscar the Priest of Illinois, who represented a Chicago Center district, became the first black American elected from a northern state, and he was a Republican. So even with the rise of the Jim Crow, Republicans still gave a black person representation in Congress. So to end this, it is true. Fact check by Newsweek, true. Yes, the first 23 black members of Congress were all Republican. The first black member of Congress from the Democratic Party was voted in position in 1934. Can you believe that? 1934, how many years after slavery was over? But this very uneducated lady doesn't know those facts. You know what the problem is? Anybody with half of a brain will try to do a little bit more research before saying certain things. Because you look dumb. You look like you don't know what you are talking about. Even though we have a president right now telling you that he missed the time when he was able to have lunch with segregationists, like actual racist people. But it's not a problem for you. Thank you for the RNC for this clip here. Let's go ahead and watch the clip.
Even back in the old days when we had real segregationists like Eastland and Thurman and all those guys. But at least we end up eating lunch together.
You're having lunch with a segregationist. A person telling you, yes, I am racist. I don't want black people around white people. You're having lunch with them. And you say you're missing that.
We end up eating lunch together.
Biden recalling his early Senate career, bringing up two segregationist senators, Herman Talmadge and James Eastland, who called African Americans an inferior race. I was in a caucus with James O. Eastland, Biden said. He never called me boy.
So he was calling other people boy?
Always called me son. At least there was some civility. We got things done. We didn't agree on much of anything.
The senators that he is speaking of with such adoration are individuals who made and built their reputation on segregation. The Ku Klux Klan celebrated the election of one of them.
As also noted, Robert C. Byrd was a parliamentary library, a keeper of the institution of the Senate, and he was the institution itself. For a lot of us, he was a friend. And he was a mentor, and he was a guy.
Back in the early 1970s, Biden bragged about an award from the notorious segregationist Governor George Wallace and told the Philadelphia Inquirer, I think the Democratic Party could stand a liberal George Wallace, someone who's not afraid to stand up and offend people.
I would not be a member of the United States Senate if those men that he praised had their way.
One chapter receiving fresh scrutiny.
And this is fake Kamala Harris before she became vice president, when she was still able to tell the truth, right? Let's keep going.
Had their way.
One chapter receiving fresh scrutiny comes from his earliest years in the Senate, when he strongly opposed mandatory school busing. It was designed to achieve integration and a more equitable education. What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists.
This is from CNN, bro. This is CNN.
On March 25th, 1977, Biden wrote, "My bill strikes at the heart of the injustice of court-ordered busing. It prohibits the federal courts from disrupting our educational system." Biden sought and received support from Mississippi Senator James Eastland, the Democratic chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and a leading symbol of Southern resistance to desegregation.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the
Anyway, I don't want to play you all this crap. Let me know what you think about this, bro. Let's help each other in the comment section. This lady says she doesn't understand how there are black people and Latino voting for Republican. She doesn't know anything about history. I promise you that. She's just on a show. All she has to do is just say whatever comes out of her freaking mind. With all due respect, lady, do a little bit more research, please, before looking all stupid and dumb at the same time. Hey, God bless you, man. Catch you on the next one.